quick bite-sized webinar for when our half-hour coffee break webinars are just too long. In this case, 4 ideas, 1 minute each, looking at 4 key issues faced by companies as they move from startups to scale-ups. So, point number 1, a scale-up is not simply doing more work. So this is a visualization using the G-forces versus speed model of an ideal startup, which is learning, validating, iterating incredibly quickly. As you move to a scale-up, you're moving to something which looks like this, where the throughput of tasks, the increase of revenue generation, every aspect of the business now needs to be honed more for very rapid delivery, while still maintaining a high capacity for agility and flexibility. So when you're thinking of hiring somebody internally or placing a piece of work or getting an external partner involved, and they have to not only be able to deliver for you, but they need to be able to help you make this transition. Point 2, as a startup, you may have been communicating with quite a narrow group of people. As a scale-up, you will now have a much broader range of constituencies, and they will constantly be changing, and they will be very different from each other. Just flicking through a few web pages here that we put together for a client of ours, Intrinsic. This does not look like a business intelligence company. As a startup, they were a business intelligence company. Now they have a couple of different business units, one of which is educational software. And so this has been honed to communicate with educators, not with the audience which, as a business intelligence company, they were accustomed to speaking to. So all of these external communications, and here we see a visual example of this, change and become much more varied. Point 3, everything the company does needs to be optimized for its power and its impact of what it achieves. This is no longer an exploration mode. So as an example, these were some visuals we put together for the Evolve refrigeration team at Phononic, and we worked with them from the foundation of the business unit, from their Series D fundraising, through to the successful completion of that and a deal with Thermo Fisher. And what we're seeing here is visuals which, if you do not work in the medical refrigeration space, will mean nothing to you. But this has to work really powerfully for a very clearly defined narrow audience. And so the CEO of Phononic, after we'd finished this and after the product range was handed over to Thermo Fisher, was waiting to go and speak at a conference, waiting to get up on the stage and give his talk. And somebody said, "Oh, I've been looking forward to speaking with you folks, because I know you guys, you're the baby on the fridge people, right? There is no point doing anything weak. You are coming in as a challenger and you need to get people's attention." Point 4. This is going to be an incredible journey. It's going to be emotionally incredibly engaging. It's going to be intellectually highly challenging. If you get this right, it will be one of the most satisfying things you've ever done in your life. If you get it wrong, it will be horrible. There is no part of this which should be business as usual or mundane. There is nobody that you want to work with who's going to see this as just a job or just another project. So whether you're creating an MVP or whether you're launching a new website to promote a product or whatever it is, none of that is just an MVP or just a website. Everybody involved, whether it's an internal hire or whether it's somebody you want to bring on board, has to be as into the journey as you are, and they have to see the upside and they have to really be excited by the challenge and the ambition of what you're doing, because this is hugely ambitious. I sat down with the executive team of a client we were onboarding last year, for example, and after everyone had talked around the subject for a while and everyone was very kind of precise and low-key, and this is what the MVP needs to do and this is the purpose of the project. After a while I just said, look, can I get this straight? The purpose of this project is to add a 0 to the company valuation. And after a pause, one of the investor directors said, nah, 2 zeros. And that's the scale of the ambition. If you're an aggressive, ambitious scale-up, that's what you're aiming for. If you've got VCs involved, that's definitely the kind of scale that they're aiming for. At no point do you want anybody involved in this who is not going to be as excited by it as you are and is not really going to be turned on by that ambition. So that's our 4 points. If any of that was unclear or you want me to unpack any more of that, give me a call. If you're not familiar with the speed versus G-forces model that we outlined very briefly at the beginning, for example, which can be very, very powerful, then absolutely let us know. If you want us to talk through any particular project challenges or particular upcoming initiatives that you've got, absolutely up for that conversation. But whatever happens, enjoy the journey.